welcome back to my channel. Today I am here bare-faced because I am going to be doing a first impressions try-on review of the BareMinerals BarePro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. So if you want to see how that's going to turn out, keep on watching. So I already moisturized my skin and I used the Simple Protecting Light Moisturizer SPF. I really love this moisturizer. I think it's one of the best that I've found from the drugstore. So if you haven't tried it, I would give it a chance. But what I am going to be doing today is I will be priming one side of my face and I won't be on the other side. And I will be using a foundation brush on one side and a sponge on the other side. So we're really going to put this to the test and see how the foundation performs with primer or with a brush or with a sponge. So let's get started. Today I'm going to be using the Nivea Men Sensitive Post Shave Balm. I don't know if you guys have tried this out, but I learned this tip from Nikki Tutorials and it's now my favorite primer. Like, I feel like I don't need any other primer in the world besides this one, and this one you could get I think at Target for like $9 as opposed to getting a super expensive primer from Ulta or Sephora. So if you don't already have this, definitely go try it out. I love it. So I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of this and I am going to put it on the right side of my face. I love using this shave balm as a primer because it has glycerin as the first ingredient, and that works really well with helping the foundation adhere to your skin and last all day long. So let's hope it works with the BareMinerals super long name foundation. Now that I'm all primed on the right side of my face, I am reading the box and it says that this is a flawless medium to full coverage, lasts all day, creamy blendable texture for luxurious comfort. Stay true mineral pigments designed for all skin tones, oil-free, hypoallergenic, and dermatologist tested. So it sounds really good. So let's get this started and see how this goes. Hopefully I got the right color for myself. It looks to be a good color. And it has really beautiful packaging. It is in a really nice glass container, and it does have a pump, which is freaking awesome. I love all foundations that have pumps. They're amazing. Every single foundation should have a pump. So I'm just taking some on the back of my hand, and I'm first going to apply it dotted. It seems to be a really good color for me too. Let's hope it doesn't oxidize. And for this side, I am going to take my Real Techniques Miracle Sponge, I think that's what these are called. So I'm just going to pounce lightly. And it does seem to have really nice coverage. I wouldn't say that it's full coverage, maybe medium, but definitely not full. I'm really liking the color of this foundation. It's very yellow olive toned. It's really hard for me to find yellow olive toned foundations. They don't seem to have them at the drugstore. I can only ever find neutral, warm, or cool toned, and there's never any olive tone, and that's my skin tone, so I always have a little bit of an off color from my face to my neck, so this one is working out pretty well for me. I'm just gonna go over it with a second layer to see if it is buildable. And it is going on really nicely on that second layer, very evenly. It's not going on patchy at all. So this is half of my face with the sponge, and I do think that it looks very nice. It looks flawless, beautiful coverage, beautiful color, and it seems to be I would say satin finish, not matte. I really like it. I like it so far with the sponge. This side I am going to go in with the brush. I am going to be using the Morphe M439 brush. This is one of my favorite buffing brushes. So if this one can't do the job, then we're going to have some problems here, and I am going to have to just keep needing to use the sponge. So it is going on a lot more full coverage with the brush, which is normal. It's very typical for a brush to leave you with a fuller coverage. Beauty blenders usually pick up the additional product that brushes tend to just slip around. I do feel like it is a little harder to move around with the brush, and it was quicker to apply with the sponge. So I would probably prefer to just keep using the sponge, and I am gonna go in on this side to just make it look all cohesive and flawless. I am a sponge girl. I'm not typically a brush type of person. So the sponge is the way to go for me. So I just brought you guys a lot closer to my face so you could see how the foundation is sitting on it. And I do really, really like it. It's not caking up anywhere. I usually tend to get cakiness around my nose, and foundations tend to settle in my smile lines, and it's not doing any of that right now. As you can see, it is a semi-matte finish. It's more satin. You could still see a little bit of glow there. It is not completely matte, which I prefer. I really don't like super matte foundations. I like being glowy. I don't like to look oily, but I do like to glow. I'm also going to be applying concealer and bronzer to see how it applies on top of the foundations. There are some foundations that tend to not work with certain concealers, and I know this is a lot of people's favorite concealer. And I will be applying the bronzer to see if it goes on smoothly and not patchy. So I'm just blending this out as I normally would. I'm taking the same amount. I'm doing it in the exact same way. I do want to give this foundation the fairest shot, the fairest review I possibly can. So I'm going to do everything exactly the same as I would as if this were a foundation that I have always loved and cherished. And it is going on beautifully, so I am super happy about that. I have had foundations that just do not mix with the Tarte Shape Tape, and it makes me so sad because I need to have bright under eyes. I can't just have like a beautiful foundation and super dark under eyes. So I definitely, my baby is the Tarte Shape Tape, so if you don't work out with her, then, well, then we can't be friends. We can't hang out. I'm sorry. I just set my under eyes and my smile lines off camera, and I just use the RCMA No Color Powder. That one always works out for me, and it did for this too, so thumbs up with that. Now I am going to be moving on to bronzer, and I will be using my Revolution All About the Bronze palette. This bronzer always turns out really well for me, so once again, with giving this foundation a fair shot, I will be using this bronzer to bronze up my face. I love the bronzers in this palette. They always leave you looking so sun-kissed and pretty. Like, it looks like I've just been out in the sun. It doesn't look ashy, it doesn't look too red, it doesn't look too orange. It's just the perfect little like sun-kissed look. And this bronzer is going on super smooth. It's going on really, really pretty. I'm so impressed by this foundation right now. I love that it's not letting anything cling on to this breakout I have. I do think that the side with the primer, which was my right side, the bronzer is going on a little more smoothly, a little more airbrushed looking, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not very noticeable, to be very honest with you, so I don't think that that really matters. The primer, I would say, matters most towards the end of the day to see what side really lasted longer. But I do think that this foundation is performing super well so far. I'm adding just a little bit of bronzer to my nose. I love that look, like I've just been at the beach for a few hours. But how funny is it that when you're actually at the beach and your nose gets red, it doesn't look cute. But if you put a little bronzer on it, sun-kissed. So I just finished applying the rest of my makeup. I used the Anastasia Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit, and I used the shade Glow Getter. It's a nice, pretty gold shade, and that went on super smooth on top of the foundation as well. And just looking in the mirror, I'm loving how this foundation looks so far. I think it is a perfect color for me, and that is so hard for me to say because I'm just so excited to find a foundation that actually looks like my neck color, so closely to my neck color. It's very weird for me to say that. I usually have to bronze or mix it with like 15 other foundations to just get one shade that really matches me. So I am excited about that, and I do think that the foundation looks flawless. But I do want to give it a few more hours. Hopefully I can give it more than 5 hours to really put the wear to the test. And I will come back and let you guys know how I really feel about it after those few hours. It is now 11:10 p.m. at night, and I have taken off the extensions, I have taken off my eyelashes, I've taken off the top of my eyeshadow. I assure you this is the exact same day. I just take off most of my makeup when I'm about to go out. I was just going to my boyfriend's house to eat dinner and have some ice cream. So we did just hang out over there for 7 hours or so. So I am gonna take a look at the foundation now. I've only looked at myself in the car mirror and it seemed fine there. So let me just take a closer look. Now you guys are up close and personal again with me, and you can tell that it has started to break up around my nose. It has started to seep a little bit of oils through my cheeks, and it has settled a little bit in my fine lines, which I do not like. Not a fan of that, but it seems to be equal on both sides. So the primer didn't really make any difference, to be honest with you. On my cheeks, it did keep on my bronzer and my highlighter, which is plus there. So if you don't have super oily skin like I do, I think this foundation has the potential to look really, really beautiful. I can tell it's starting to fade a little from around my mouth, just because we did have dinner. So I think aside from that, this foundation is really beautiful. It still looks very smooth and very pretty. I think that I would just need to touch up. I would just need a little bit of powder. All in all, for $34, I would totally recommend it. I do think that it leaves a very pretty finish. I do think that there are some drugstore foundations or middle range foundations that perform equally, but I do really like this foundation. I am going to keep trying it out, and I will continue to let you know how I feel about it. But for right now, I give it a thumbs up. Once again, guys, thank you for watching my video. It means the world to me. I hope that you enjoyed it and you found it informative on the BareMinerals BarePro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. So thank you for coming. If you've missed my last video, it's gonna be right over here. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Bye.